Hello. Hi. Sorry, I've been stopping the stream and continuing. Um Sorry about that. And sorry, VODs. We're gonna be playing Our Life Begins and Always. Want to make sure everything's working. Yes, everything is working. This is the first ever visual novel I've ever played. I was gonna be on menu screen, but let me go back to menu screen. Had technical difficulties. That's it. This is the first ever visual novel I played. I want to see how it holds up and stuff. Also, we have the wedding DLC, so we're gonna be playing that. So stay tuned. So let us play. Not gonna waste any time because I've already done that. Would you like gameplay explanations sections to appear? No. Alright, played this before. I don't need. No. I don't know what should be my last. I'm not gonna share any actual information. Gay. Why am I saying gay over and over? Let's do the fake name I did when playing Our Life. The fake last name I did. Snow Parker. Peachy. There. He. That'd be cool to have purple eyes. None of these fit me, actually. This kinda. Should I have back hair? Maybe not. I don't want it. This is like brownish. That does not look good. Okay. Medium? I guess so. That looks interesting. Obviously I want that. Practicals? What the hell does that mean? I don't know. I think that's... Here we go. We're gonna play Our Life. Summer in Sunset Bird was a special time of year. Your usual sleepy town began to bustle. It was a popular tourist destination, with people coming from all over to enjoy the beach, the weather, and the relaxation that came with both. The smell of the ocean, crisp and salty, hung in the air, bringing 3 whole months of school-less vacation with it. During your summer, your moms didn't like you to wander too far outside the neighborhood, so you knew the area pretty well. That included the people. Families came and went from Sunset Bird, but they mostly stayed and did what your mom called putting down roots. Don't know what that means. They built businesses. Okay. They got to know each other, and they definitely said hello to the nice young kids who waved when passing their stores. Going for a walk around town mostly meant that the familiar, friendly residents waved, or asked how your family was, or most often just said hello. You didn't really get why they had to say hi. They saw you every day, so you nodded back at them anyway. They ended up saying hi to a lot of different people, since most of the tourists that came and went every summer were the same ones. You were too anxious to say hi back. I guess nod. I don't know. It was a polite thing to do, after all. And your mom's taught you to always be respectful. Why is it crackling? I hear crackling. You gonna stop? Okay, cool. But today there was a man sitting on the curb outside your home. Hear it again? Hope not. Okay. He was sitting with his head on his hands. His whole body slumped over, and you wonder if he was a real person, or a statue that had magically sprung from the ground overnight. Whoever or whatever he was. You had never seen him before. Is he a ghost? A ghoul? One thing about knowing everyone in Sunset Bird was that the people who you didn't really recognize really stood out. It was rare for tourists to venture into the residential district, as your moms called it. So, for you, not knowing who a total stranger was set off a lot of red flags. Your mom had a talk with you and your big sister, Lizzie, about this kind of situation before. Oh yeah, I forgot about the sister. I forgot about sister. I forgot we had sister. It's such a different contrast to our life now and forever, where we have a single mom and no siblings. This one we have two moms and we have two moms and a sister. Very interesting. Wonder if we'll ever have a dad in the future. With maybe like another Our Life game in the near distance future, maybe 2037. Our Life, then and when. I don't know. When and then. That's the name of the game. It's a winter themed game. Then and when. Alright. You hadn't exactly been listening at the time. You think it could be okay to talk to new people. I mentioned that some people aren't good to talk to, but other types of people can help you, even if you didn't know them. You remember that it's okay to run away if you feel uncomfortable. You don't have to worry about being polite then. I think that is it. Don't just trust strangers you see. Stranger danger. You weren't sure about this man yet. Still, you felt a bit scared knowing that he was blocking the way to your front door. You slowed down, your mind racing for ideas on how to get past him unseen, but it was too late to escape. There was a split seconds where your eyes met, and you took in a shaky breath. Your eyes darted to the sky, pretending to stare at the bird who was hovering nearby. Hey! His voice startled you and made you jump, but you still didn't look at him. The bird landed on the top of the nearby gatepost, and its black feathers ruffled against the gentle breeze. Trying to keep your eyes on it was tough, but when the man stood up and started making its way towards you, not wanting to seem too approachable, stranger danger, and then punch his dick. So, Poe's dad, yes. Do you live around here? What's your name? Ganya. Alright, you look the man up and down, taking in his tan skin and relaxed appearance. At least his clothes were relaxed. The way he was acting wasn't. He had shark on his shorts and a stingray tattoo. You wonder if he was obsessed with the ocean or something. While you made your assessment, he looked at you expectantly, waiting for an answer to his question. You continued to say nothing. I don't know you. Stranger danger! Anyway, punch his dick. If you do, he rubbed the back of his neck uncomfortably, giving you a small smile. Oh yeah, I'm like, I'm not taking the money, you dick. I'm not being bribed to be friends with your son. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a clean $20 bill. It crinkled in his hands as he held it up to you. Even more confused than before, you looked back at him. Well... Wait, was that a voice? Hold on. Yeah, there is voice acting in this game. Was it? Hold on.
Well...
Yeah, it was a voice. I can barely hear it.
Well...
There we go. Well, could you do me a favor? Nothing bad. Sorry, I should have let me start over. Yeah, you're really bad at talking to a kid. Even though you're a parent, you're really bad at talking to kids. He cleared his throat and stood up straighter. From where you were standing, it just made him look creepier. I have a son, his name is Cove, who's about your age. Cove. That seems like a strange name for a person. You chewed on the inside of your cheek. This guy was definitely obsessed with water. You thought that was cool. He wasn't the only person like that in Sunset Bird. We moved across the street, see? He gestured toward the house that's been empty for a year. His watch catching the late afternoon sunlight and reflecting off the walls. The gigantic "for sale" sign was finally gone. Oh, you must be Snow Parker, right? I met your moms earlier and they told me who you were 8, just like him, so... Oh, 8? Our life now and forever. Step 1, we're 10. He shook the $20 bill to bring it back to your attention, a hopeful smile tilting his lips at the corners. You're a bad father. I'm sorry. This is a bad father thing to do. Hey. Hold on. Do I have any actual money? No. All I have is... I don't have money. Of course I don't. It's stuck. It's stuck. No, here it is. I'll give you a nickel if you be friends with my son. Oh, if you become friends with my son, I'll give you a good nickel. Really beautiful looking 5 cents. Please, please. I'm desperate. Alright. Just give it a chance. And you can keep this. He's a good kid. You'll like him.
Do you mind?
But you gotta keep it a secret, okay? It wouldn't be too friendly to say his dad's... You eyed the man. You felt sorry for Cove. This was not a good thing to do. This definitely wasn't a normal way kids made friends. You knew that. What'd you say? Wanna make a deal? You ran away. I'm not, no! Fuck you, you bitch. I'm not gonna be friends with your... I'm not gonna be bribed to be friends with your son. I'm gonna be friends with your son just because I want to. Dick. You spun around and made a break for it. No thanks, old man. You turned on the spot and bolted down the street, ignoring his calls from behind you. Hey! I'm back. I'm sorry if I scared you. I don't know how else to ask. Just ask to be friends, you stupid idiot. Soles of your shoes slapped against the concrete sidewalk as you ran. Heat from the sun warm on your face. Idiot. Step 1, first sight. Eventually, his shouting faded into the distance. You let yourself slow down and catch your breath, wiping the sweat from your forehead with the back of your hand. How long have you been running? It's nighttime. The chirping of crickets and tall, dry grass echoed around you, and you lifted your head to survey your surroundings. You'd run right into the hills behind your house's backyard. From here, you could probably get back inside without seeing the guy again. There was a loose plank on the back fence, too small to fit through, but you could try waving to Lizzie for help. The fence was pretty high, but if you stood on the neighbor's shorter fence post first, you might be able to pull yourself up. You would be able to hide here until you left. Then you'd go through the front door. Go to front door. You could make a peek around the corner and make sure he was gone before making a break for it. You took in a deep breath. You wanted to try and relax and couldn't. You weren't sure what, but something told you that you weren't alone, so you glanced around. Oh. Hello. There's Cove. Oh. I'm happy to see him again. It's been years. It's been years. I don't know if I want to make that joke. Nothing bad. Man. It's been, like, genuinely so long since I've seen anything about Cove. Really, maybe a few things here and there, but to really, really think about it is I haven't. I don't know why I'm just putting my mouse through the gap. OCD, man. Anyway, there was a boy sitting at the top of one hill, almost completely hidden within the long grass and white flowers surrounding him. His head was buried in his knees, staring ahead by himself. For whatever reason, probably just that he wasn't paying attention. He hadn't noticed you yet. You watched him a minute longer, feeling a little bit like you found a deer in the wild. Ugh, God damn it. Though deer didn't have. Sad frowns. Now, honestly, that's a kid thing to think. It's like, deer don't have frowns. They're always happy and stuff. Pink casts. Wavy eyebrows. Huge glasses. Sad frowns. But this new boy did. You wonder what could have upset him. After a few seconds, you took a step forward, then another. Hello. Then he glanced your way. His aquamarine eyes reflected the light of the moon. You stopped, raising a hand to acknowledge him and show you weren't scary. Oh, hi. Hi. With a start, he jumped to his feet, his hands balling into fists at his side. Now, this is where I remember, like, is very, very chibi kind of Cove style for him as a kid. He didn't say anything, just stared at you in a strange way. He'd been crying. There were traces of tears on his cheeks and his knees, soaking the hem of his shorts, and his eyes were still shining a few more. You obviously caught him off guard. He was your age, but he didn't look familiar. Maybe he was the boy that weird neighbor had been talking about before you ran. The only way to know was to ask. Maybe wait for him to say something? Oop, there we go. Hide. He sniffled a little, rubbing at his woody cheeks before he finally spoke. My name's Cove. Oh, there you go. You could see him hesitate, shifting his eyes to the side and then back at you again. My dad and me, we moved here. Your guess was confirmed. So, is this your hill? He gestured with his uninjured arm to the patch of grass surrounding you, his face falling at the prospect. It's like, why would I own a hill? I do remember that. Like, I can leave if it is. You can't own a hill. No, I would shake my head. No. While doing so, you also picked at the strand of lint on your leg. What a weird question to ask someone. He sat back down with a thump, resting his chin on his knees again. Curious about the strange new boy with the odd dad. I see a notification. You sat on the patch of grass next to him. No, I don't think I did. No, I didn't. The pure white flowers that covered this hill rocked back and forth gently as the stars twinkled above. The way they dotted the sky made them seem like flowers too. The night wind was cool as it traveled over the ocean and up the hill, chasing away the heat from the afternoon sun. Are you here? Maybe, I don't know, because I don't think like any question would be the best, so I'm not gonna mention anything about family. A quiet hiccup escaped Cove as soon as you asked the question. Almost like they never stopped, his tears started up again with a vengeance. My parents, they don't want to live together with me anymore. Yeah. It's not your fault. Don't worry. Aw. Hold on, I'm making sure the audio is... Why is my audio in a weird level? Let me do that. Okay. The tears fell fast and heavy over his flushed cheeks, sticking in his dark lashes. My mom made my dad leave and took me with him, and now we have a house here, and I don't want to go home. The outburst took you off guard. By the time he was done welling, Cove's chest was heaving with exhaustion. He sniffled and removed his glasses, wiping at his eyes with the back of his hand before he put them back on again. I hate this place. I want my real life back. I want my mom. He slipped his hands underneath his glasses and pressed his fingers against his eyelids. Cove wound himself up again for another long crying fit. He felt bad for him, being forced to come here with no choice. He couldn't imagine what it would feel like to live with only one of your moms, but it must have been hard. From the way off in the distance, you heard your parents. Snow!
Cove?
Yeah, he's not the best father. As I remember in step one, maybe in the future he's better, but step one, not the greatest. Kids, where did you go? Cove looked at you, tears clinging to his cheeks. Don't tell them we're here.
I want to go home.
It'll be okay. You were struck with a sudden need to reassure Cove. It's not gonna be all fun, but isn't he your family too? Yeah, I guess. You can count on him when you really need him. Shut him and grin, and push yourself to your feet. Slowly, Cove stood up with you, still looking a little reluctant. His dad's voice rang out again. Cove, can you hear me? He looked towards the sound of his dad's voice, silent, then turned away while rubbing his not bandaged arm.
Sorry.
Still don't want to go. Maybe try and convince? I'll see. Are you sure? You'd have to stay outside the whole night and sleep on wet grass. Before Cove could say anything, you heard his dad's voice again, even closer than before. Very alright, bud. The trio of parents peered over the curve of the hill. Instantly, all their eyes landed on you and rushed over. There they are. I haven't seen them in a long time, too. I don't remember how both of them looked. Do I remember? I remember her pregnant. What? Maybe it's the hand over the chest that makes me think that. Ugh. Sorry. Why did my brain ever think that before? What the fuck? Of course, what? God, I'm sorry. I swear, I don't remember a lot of their designs and stuff. I don't remember how either of them looked. Why do I remember her looking like that? Maybe the designs changed a lot through these steps. So I remember specific designs, but not others. What the hell did I think it's the hand there. That's why. It's so weird. My brain's doing that. Both of your moms were at your side in a split second. Faces filled with worry. It's not your hair after all. We had been at the park to check for Cove and then heard what happened earlier when you met the new neighbor. I thought you might have gone off further away. Cove didn't want to go home just yet. Mommy gave Cove a small smile, then turned back to you. Thank God you're both fine. Okay, so this is Mommy and this is Mom. Were you two having fun out here? You looked at Cove, who was wiggling at his dad's tight hug and pushing at his arms. God, I'm gonna do the same thing I did with Chu in our life. I'm like, I think I'm gonna marry him. Well, I guess we are doing the gonna do the wedding thing later, so I'll just say yes, I like him. You know, smiling slightly. Finally letting go of his swarming, scowling son, Cove's dad turned to the three of you.
That's a relief.
I can't fucking hear you, sorry. Are you so quiet?
That's a relief.
One. I have an idea. Bring that way down.
That's a relief.
That's better. Not perfect, but better at least.
That's a relief.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Thanks very much for finding him. I really don't know this neighborhood. Good thing Snow knows this whole area so well. Absolutely, we should get homing that. We should get. Absolutely, we should be getting home now. It's been a long day for us all. Say goodbye, Cove.
Bye.
The two of them walked off into the darkness, heading towards the neighborhood. You watch Cove's bright pink cast until it disappeared. Tell you what, we'll have a proper play date tomorrow, okay? Your new friend's dad wanted to bring him by to see you and Lizzie. How does that sound? Sounds like words. Sure, can I show him my stuff? I want to talk in a kid's voice. Ducking your head down. Sure, can I show him my stuff?
Of course.
Of course. Then okay. Both of your moms laughed, the sounds overlapping into a warm, familiar chorus. Mommy put her arm around your shoulder and led you towards the path. Satisfied and more than a little ready to go to bed after your long, exciting day, you followed them home. There we go. There we go. I like this. Let me do that. Comfort. Relaxed. And crush. Comfort. Relax. I'll say relax right now. Begin step 1 at relaxed crush. You'll be able to change it until step 2. Yes. What was that? There's no way that was my guitar. Sorry, that's music. The next morning, you finish your breakfast so fast that you practically inhaled it. That's me. That is me. That's me. Yep. I inhale all my food. I'm gonna pull a Markiplier one day, where no, it wasn't that he didn't chew his food properly. It was that he was had like some nuts or something, and he tried to like prank Chica by grabbing her paw and pretending to like bite it and making like a bone cracking sound with the food in his mouth to scare Chica. That was successful, but I guess karma hit him where he choked on the food because he was laughing about it. The next morning, you finish your breakfast so fast that you practically inhaled it. Your sister Lizzie had run out earlier to go play, but you stayed put. Today, just like your mom's had promised, Cove was coming over to hang out. Okay. Excited to see your new friend again, Snow? Yeah, a lot.
How sweet.
Isn't that just the sweetest thing? I bet the two of them are gonna be great playmates.
Okay.
With that said, are you done with your breakfast? Breakfast? I hate speaking. You understand, I don't like speaking. Yeah. With the exaggeration of a 8-year-old can muster. You looked at your empty cereal bowl, then at Mom.
Okay.
Okay, attitude kid. We see. Good job. He should be here soon. Cleanup began, and then, on cue, there was a knock. It was hesitant, like the person wasn't sure if they were in the right place. Still loud, though. We need to get a more obvious doorbell. I know. Snow, could you get it? You practically leapt out of your chair and on the way to the door. So I've noticed that this is very different UI and stuff than our life now and forever. I haven't played this in years, so I don't remember a lot. Hey Parker family, thanks for having us. Well, I do remember a lot from the game itself and moments, but not from the UI. Mr. Holden, as your moms have called him, and his son were here. Cove looked different in the bright light in your living room and when he wasn't crying. With his dad standing in front of him and Mom and Mommy behind you, you and Cove looked at each other. My screen's dirty. Cove's dad looks very weird. So I should clean up my screen. Pleased to see the interesting new boy again. You smell like Cove. Cove returned it shyly. Let's go play in my room. Let's go play in my room.
Okay. Take care.
Let us know if you need anything to do. Have fun, kids.
See you.
I don't remember how I sounded as a kid. I don't remember. So I'm just doing like a fake kid's voice. I know it. I'll do this lisp because that was the thing I did. Fuck. Alright. You led him to your room, puffing out your chest a little bit at the sight of your treasures. I stopped doing that in like 2020. So there were lots of stuffed animals, a cool bed, and a window to look out. It was a great room. You hadn't had anyone to show it to in a while, but you were really proud of it. He leaned a little closer to one of your drawings on the wall. I like this. Thank you. You're welcome. You smiled at him. You were proud of that particular piece of art, and you were glad he noticed it. He turned to look around the room a little more, studying the books on the desk and the pictures on the wall. You were glad for his company. It was nice to have someone new to play with. Then his eyes landed on a tiny box of beach things you collected, tucked away by your door. He took a step towards it, before hesitating and pointing at it instead. What's that? A hoard of stuff I found on the beach.
Oh.
Do you have any driftwood in there? I don't know. Go look, I guess. Dragging the box into the middle of the room, you and Cove flopped down next to it. I think so. Yes. See? God, I can't. No, I'm not doing the fucking thing. I'm not doing it. You gestured to a piece at the bottom, still covered with specks of sand.
Neat.
This is a good collection. You got a sense from the tone of his voice, he wasn't trying to say it to be nice or to be like Silo. he actually meant it. What was Silo? Who was Silo again? I don't remember. We'll meet him probably, most likely. Oh, alright. I almost forgot. Silo is gonna be here today. Silo? Lizzie's friend, or like her number one fan, I guess. Do I have to see him? It should be okay. I mean, he's Lizzie's friends, not mine, but you know. Come on, check out my shells somewhere. I found this one under a big seaweed. Why you look at me like that? That had washed the shore, and why you look at me like that? You pulled out seashell after seashell, explaining where you'd gotten each one and holding them up against the light. There were big ones, small ones, pink, purple, and orange. Most of them you washed off in the bathroom sink when you brought them home, cleaning off the sand. Ooh. Your voice faltered a little bit. It kept going as best as you can. The collection was so huge and varied that you had a lot of funny stories to tell for all of them. Apparently fascinated either by the stories or the shells themselves, Cove listened with what looked like the full force of his attention. Like when you almost got pinched by a hermit crab while searching for shells, and after watching him scuttle back into the ocean, you found another empty shell that was almost a twin to his home. It was a new experience to be the center of such dedicated focus. For some reason, it was making your cheeks feel warm. You had never felt like this around someone before. It was kind of weird. I wonder what... Remember the crush? Direct, indirect, relaxed thing? I don't remember that. I don't remember that. Was that new? Maybe? Or maybe not. I don't remember. Kids, come down to the living room. You could tell by the idea was making him unhappy, but Mom wasn't giving you much of a choice to hang around. Cove hadn't been like this meeting you. You guess it was because you found each other by accident, and a parent didn't make it happen. Mr. Holden must be right that telling Cove his dad was part of that would be a bad idea. Before you knew it, you both been escorted downstairs and deposited in the living room, right for Silo's visit. The two of you sat side by side on the floor of your home's entryway. Brought the box of shells. I want to keep looking at them. Okay, but be careful. I will. Yeah, he should have asked, but what can you do? You weren't sure if you could trust someone else with your treasures yet, but you stayed next to him while he opened the lid and peered inside. Cove reached in and pulled out a big orange shell. Ooh. Like he hadn't spoken out loud yet, he turned to you and held it, his eyes shining. I think this one is the best one of them. Huh. You can take it if you want. Cove looked at you in surprise, his eyes going wide. Really? You sure? You like it a lot, right? Uh-huh, but I don't want to take it from you. It's okay. Got the impression he was hesitant to accept something because he didn't know you very well. Insisted. Maybe that's good. No, it's okay for you. Pushed the cell against, maybe that's not. Firmly shook his head and kept his arms. Wait, maybe I should read this. You pushed the shell against Cove's chest, willing him to receive the present. Reciprocate. All right. But Cove firmly shook his head and kept his arms slightly at his sides. Okay. So I don't want. Okay, if you don't want it, that's fine. Okay. You didn't want to pressure Cove. I don't want to pressure him. It was supposed to make him happy, not nervous. Plus, Cove was your neighbor now. Maybe you could give it to him another time. The two of you were still sitting on the floor, looking through your collection of beach findings when the doorbell finally rang. Cove jumped, startled by the sound. Since the person hadn't knocked, you figured it was probably Silo. He knew where to look for that. Lizzie's friend. You nodded, but that didn't seem to make Cove feel better. It was already obvious that Cove didn't hide his feelings well. You could tell that he wasn't thinking right away. This isn't a good idea. He'll be alright, he's here. We can't tell him to leave. He's at our door, and if you go upstairs, he'll find you. Oh, that's terrifying. That's terrifying. Yeah, that expression is good. That justified. Oh God, that's terrifying. He glanced around the room, his eyes wide, and finally paused with his gaze locked on the back of the house. Making God the window. He was already walking towards it. He scrambled to think something to say. He stepped forward, then paused. Cheer up, Sil's gonna like you. Do you want to break your other arm? Silo is the least scary person alive. Cheer up, Sila's gonna like you. What should we do? Do you want to break your other arm? Even if I don't jump out of any window here, and this is my house. Even I don't jump out of any of the windows here, and this is my house. The distance from the first floor living window wasn't far, but you could tell it made Cove nervous anyway. He touched the cast on his arm. The wind had clearly released from his cells. I don't want to break any more bones. I don't think anyone wants to. Yeah. But I want to see him. I don't know him. You comfort him. It's okay if you're worried. No one warned you this was gonna happen. Thanks. Silo poked his head into the living room. It was impossible to know for sure if he'd heard what you'd been saying or not, but you guessed that he had. I don't know. Do I remember how he looked? I feel like I remember how he looked.
Hi!
Yes, I kind of do. I kind of do remember how he looked. Not exactly like that. Maybe more grown, maybe? Maybe I remember, maybe Step 2 has Silo and he had a different look to him. I need to go restroom. I'll be right back. See ya. Hello? Hello? Sorry, I'm back. Anyway, let's continue playing our life. It is our life. Anyway. Hey, Snow. And, Cove? Cove shot you an uneasy glance.
Hi.
Why did you look at me for? Hi. I'm Sela. It's nice to meet you. Yeah. You have a lot of freckles. Right, I do. What are you guys doing? We're looking at shells.
Can I do it too?
Oh, that's your voice. I don't know how to do that. My voice is deep. Deep. I cannot do that. Awesome. Can I do it too? Cove shrugged, then looked back at your box of beach findings. What about that one? What about what one? But the plan for the afternoon, at least as far as you were concerned, was to sit and look at the beach thing some more. You weren't really in the mood to do much of anything else, especially if Cove was having fun. Hey, check out this scallop I found. Cool, right? It's a pretty color. Can you like my cast? I don't know what voices to do. No, I don't know what voices to do for me and him, but... Oh no, this is him saying that, not... It's a pretty color, kind of like my cast. The beautiful glittering pink did look a bit like a wrap around his arm. Kind of reminds me of like cotton candy. Pink is a nice color. Okay.
Oh?
Is it your favorite? Not really. What is? Maybe green or blue? It might be yellow. Oh, those are cool. Yeah, green is good. Blue too. Yellow, but those are all cool.
I guess.
I like those colors too. They're better colors. I like those colors too.
Awesome.
Both of them smiled. Like usual, it didn't take long for Zillow to get fidgety. Lizzie was his favorite. Without her around, Zillow didn't seem to know what to do with himself. And Cove wasn't like your sister. He wasn't that much like you either. Is Lily coming back? Don't know. Oh. Where did she go? I think she's at the beach, probably. Is she playing at the park? Or no? Why am I doing Cove's voice for him? Whatever. Cove's eyes lit up at the mention of a park. Then he looked towards you. There's a park? Yeah, but it's pretty old. Why am I doing that voice? Why am I doing my normal adult voice? Whatever. Can you show me? I want to go. He started getting up before you even answered, and Silo jumped up beside him in excitement. Really? You do too, right, Snow? The park is pretty fun. The park is great.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, it's right at the beach. There's a lot of fun stuff to do and lots of sand. It has a jungle gym and a bunch of swings. That sounds like it could be fun. It could be cool. So, are we going to find Lizzie? This is the similar voices I did for Tamarok in Our Life Now and Forever. It's my little kid voice. My little kid voice. It's more different, but still fun. I don't know. I never really wanted to see her. I just want to check the park out. Adrift with any direction, Scylla finally turned to you. Okay. He perked up. Both boys wanted to go. It was only fair. After getting permission from your moms, the three of you were ready to head out. It was a short walk to the park. Lizzie had convinced your moms that it was so short, she should be allowed to walk there by herself. When you found her, she was hanging on the jungle gym, swinging back and forth. I don't remember her design. Hey, Lizzie. Her face lit up when she saw you, her big brown eyes going wide. Snowzilla! Hi, oh my god, that's Lizzie. She dropped to the ground and landed with a soft thud in the sand. In a split second, Scylla had abandoned you two and scrambled over to stand by her. You were used to being left out when it was the three of you, but now Cove was here. It was nice to have someone who stuck with you. Who's that? It's Cove. He's new.
Hi.
I remember. Hi, Cove. Welcome to my park. What? Nobody ever comes to play here, so this is where we get together. She gestures widely with her arms to present the area to the newcomer. While Lizzie continued talking, you took the chance to kick off your shoes and wiggle your toes around the warm sand. Ah. Nice, huh? In this neighborhood, I'm the one who comes up with the ideas. God. You are?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I remember. I forgot about this. I forgot she's sassy and annoying. Yeah, I am. Who else could handle the job? Wait, was it Kai who does her voice? It's a voice actor, I know. Right? I've talked to a bit. Where's my phone? Where's my oh fucking god, it's there. My camera. I'm gonna die now. Okay. Right? I think they are the voice of Lizzie. Yeah, I am. Who else could handle the job? Lizzie is the artist. By a lot. My mom says you're Snow's age.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so. I'm still the only one in the game. She's so bossy. Why? What about other kids? Are there kids? There aren't any. We're the only kids here, and Silo is just visiting from another place. Not even tourists really bring their kids here. This is a land of ancients. Be careful, but that the oldies don't try to steal your youth.
Oh.
Oh. For a second, he looked like he might cry again. Something in his eyes shifted, and he looked back at Lizzie. What kind of old people? Like moms and dads or grandparents? Grandparents who don't have kids. They hate kids. Why? We haven't done anything. Stop saying stuff like that. You're really gonna upset them. You interjected quickly, hoping Cove wouldn't start crying again. He sniffled, his forehead creasing with worry. Shut up. Lizzie started staring Cove down, but Cove wasn't looking at her anymore. He didn't seem to care that she was there. He went into his own head. Scylla was the next one to speak, completely unaware of the situation. I met Lizzie and Snow in school. You'll see a ton of kids there once summer's over. I don't want to go to new school. I don't want summer to end. Scylla looked down to the dirt. hasn't had much luck striking up conversations with Cove. I like summer vacation a lot too. All the tension building in the air suddenly vanished when Lizzie left. At Scylla's discomfort, at how weird she thought Cove was, at something else entirely you really didn't know, but she laughed, face scrunching up. It's my phone. I don't know. So, does it look weird? It looks dark. Does it look dark? Why does my camera look dark? It's a bit better. Bit better. Not really. I think this is a bit better, but anyway. That's still is. Alright, okay.
Okay.
Welcome to Sunset Bird Cove. Take a seat, put your feet up, and get used to it. You offered him a small smile that at least looked to reassure him some. I'm sorry about my sister. Bit bossy. For the rest of the summer, Cove was always there. You saw him more often than Silo, and on some days when she was in a bad mood or busy, you even saw him more than Lizzie. He became a staple in your everyday life, and the way the sun and lunch and the beach were. Looking back on it years later, you realize that you had a tiny crush on him right away. One that made you want to spend as much time with him as you did. Of course, that was only the start of things. There we go. I guess I could make. Should I stop stream then continue so I can put this on VODs? Oh God, the dogs. I guess we can do that, maybe? No, I'm not gonna do that. Well, I'll see what. Hold on. Sorry about that. We'll continue playing. Shopping. Do that. Alright, we're back. Sorry about that. The dogs are barking a lot. But we're gonna continue with shopping. Here we go. Come back before it gets dark, alright? Alright, sport. I almost said old sport. A familiar voice drifted across the street and drew your attention away from the snail you've been watching inch slowly across the pavement. Oh, here we go. Cove waited in front of his dad, pushing his green hair back off his face from where the breeze was blowing it over his glasses. He looked to be paying only a mild amount of attention as he was being handed a few slips of green paper. It reminded you of when you first met Mr. Holden, although he's probably not paying Cove to be friends with himself. Cove's dad seemed to feel your gaze somehow, and maybe you made a noise, but a second later, as his eyes were on you, he waved you over with a smile. He looked happy to see you, but felt a little weird before getting got. You gotta learn how to be more sneaky. Yeah, he's weird. Probably not the greatest. Great at getting. What am I? God, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You brush your hands together to free them of sand, and then jogged over to join the two, smiling at Cove first, then his dad. Then Cove shuffled his feet in place as you got closer. Snow, hi.
How's it going?
Good to see you again. What excitement are you up to today, Snow? Taking a walk. I found a pretty cool snail across the road. There's lots of snails around here. I like snails. Mr. Holden grinned at you kindly. After you finished answering the question, Mr. Holden's attention returned to Cove, who was preoccupied with folding the bills into a tiny rectangle. Sounds fun, you know. Cove was about to hit the stores by the beach. Why don't you go with him?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can come. You immediately grinned at the idea. You hadn't been sure if you'd see Cove today, but now he was inviting you somewhere. This day couldn't get much better. Great, I'm sure you guys will have lots of fun. Mr. Holden reached into his pocket and pulled out a leather wallet filled with money. You found it odd, since your mom's only ever seemed to have cards in theirs. Here. He leaned to pass a crisp tin to Cove, giving him a wink and a whisper. Get something for your friend. Sure.
Good kid.
That's my boy. Cove's dad ruffled his son's hair. As he was straining back up, the bill in his hand still held out towards the green-haired boy. Why do I remember him being much more buffer? Maybe that's in the future. Maybe he starts doing some workout. I don't know. Take care. Cove accepted the bill after a second and slipped it into his pocket. Then with one last nod to his dad, he turned and started walking. You followed after him, intrigued at the possibilities this outing might bring. Also, I don't even remember the moments. Honestly, when I played Now and Forever, I was like, oh, this is weird. Was that a thing in Our Life Begins and Always? The moment things with like walks and all this stuff. Turns out that it is. I don't remember. This is the thing. I don't remember a lot of the like UI, buttons and all that stuff. I don't remember a lot of that. So it's interesting to see that. So yeah. Wait, Did I read that? You followed after him, intrigued at the possibilities this outing might bring. Cove, sorry, there's dogs barking. Cove strayed towards the gentle tide creeping up the sand, and you fell into place beside him. It was a nice day, the sun was shining, and there weren't many clouds in the sky. Though the wind coming off the ocean kept it from being too hot. You took in a deep breath, enjoying the scent of salt and ocean air. When you looked at Cove, he was dragging his feet through the sand a little, and you slowed down to wait for him. Also, I don't know if you want. I don't know if this is technically spoilers or not for Now and Forever, but the thing with Now and Forever is with the things of having feelings for the love interests. With Now and Forever, you get to make them have certain feelings for you. With this, it's just having feelings for Cove, and not really having a choice for him having feelings for you. Or maybe that's just step one. Who knows? I don't remember a lot. When you looked at Cove, he was dragging his feet through the sand a little, and you slowed down to wait for him. His eyes searched the ground intently. Are you looking for shells? Cove startled a little at the sound of your voice and mumbled, "Sort of. If you see any, can you let me know?" You could manage that. You dropped your view to the sand, walking carefully so you didn't step on any. Sorry, dog's barking. Alright. You could manage that. You dropped your view to the sand, walking carefully so you didn't step on any. You were good at finding shells. You had a lot of them at home, and always found new ones whenever you visited the beach. The comforting sound of the waves filled the silence with pleasant white noise, and you played a little game with yourself as you walked along, getting closer to the water as possible without getting wet. It resulted in you having to run up the sand quickly when a wave rushed in more than a few times, and although Cove threw a few glances your way, he didn't say a word. So I did notice they had art of Cove in the fall. I was like, that's fun. It's so strange seeing him in other seasons. Why is it you didn't either? Okay, I don't know. Did you want to go for the shop tour? Can't speak. I need a new scent. Hell, what that is. Yeah, what happened to your old one? Cove narrowed his eyes, seeming to think deeply for a second.
Whoa.
It disappeared. What, really? Cove ducked his head down. You can barely hear the dogs barking. Oh, someone's here. That's why. I need to tell them I'm live. Sorry about that. Cove ducked his head down, lacing his fingers behind his back. It didn't seem like he was going to continue, so he nudged his arm. When did that happen? Well, Cove opened his mouth and shut it again, considering. I took it to the beach one day. Uh-huh. When I go home, it wasn't anywhere. You left it there? No, it wasn't at the beach when I went back. Then you lost it? It disappeared.
So...
What about you? What do you do out here? I don't know. I like swimming. I think that would be the thing. Cove's lips curled up in a small smile. Me too. It occurred to you that you hadn't been swimming in a while. There was just so much to do before summer started up again, and so little time. Here we go. Yeah, the town. The fuck? All I did was try to hide this with middle click, and it just did that. No longer just waves and footsteps, but the chatter of people enjoying the lovely summer day. The call of birds trying to find bits of food left behind. And lots of salespeople trying to get attention. What? Oh wait, what? There's multiple? Yeah, I think it's angle 2 that I do. Yeah. You sniffed the air as you walked beside Cove. You could still smell the ocean, but there were other scents now too. Pizza, pretzels, hot donuts. I can hear a cat at my door. It was nice. The energy surrounding the area seemed to fill you, and there was a bounce in your step as you began looking at the familiar sights. There were so many things to do, you didn't know where to begin. I looked at Cove, hoping he was just as excited as you were. Cove was glancing at one side of the street to the other to look, with a look in his aquamarine eyes that you didn't quite work out. What's that? Cove pointed towards a large crowd of people gathered near a few tables with large, colorful umbrellas blooming from their middles. It's like a... Hold on, my phone's about to die. It was like a magic show or something. Right? I don't remember. Wire. The wire. Wires in the way. I think we're just not gonna do camera right now. Go ahead, kid. Here we go. Sorry about that. Once it goes to a respectable level, we'll turn camera back on. You couldn't see past the adults who were blocking the way, but you knew there was something worth seeing. Without a word, the two of you hurried over to see what all the commotion was about. Feast your eyes on the amazing Alexander. In the center of the crowd was a man with a tall hat and a funny green coat with 3 long tails. There was a little table next to him with a cloth hanging over it that read, "The Amazing Alexander," in glittery golden script. Why tell people his name if it's already on a sign? Cove hummed with understanding, then turned away to walk away just as the Amazing Alexander began to shuffle a deck of cards. Maybe we could stay and watch. Cove glanced at the man. He then briefly lifted his arms off his sides before returning them to place. You grinned, waving him to follow you as you raced back to stand in the crowd. With that, it began. The magic man pulled one card out of his deck, began to show it to curious onlookers. It was a 4 of diamonds. Watch closely. You did, squeezing through a few of the adult onlookers to get a better view. The man then snapped his fingers and the card just disappeared. Wow. The amazing Alexander, who earned his title, turned his head and looked directly at you. He reached out with a kind smile. What's this behind your ear? You backed away. It was enough to deter him. The crowd of people gathered behind you made it impossible to move any further. He smelled like popcorn and the candy when he stepped closer, and you swallowed anxiously. You felt a tug. Then he pulled out the 4 of diamonds from behind your ear. What? I didn't have that. You knew that it couldn't really have come from your ear, but you still didn't know how he'd done it. There's a light applause from the crowd, and the man gave a deep bow. This is for you. The magical man plucked a pair of balloons from the clump of them and tied them to his table. Both were in the shape of a dolphin instead of a normal circle. And this one is for your friend. Thank you for being my assistant. Whoa. Now you were grateful what he chose you. Oh no. Do I remember something about the balloon? Fuck. No, don't do anything to the balloon. Oh, I forgot. Something happens to Cove's balloon. I forgot what happened. I think it popped or something. After that, he went to someone else in the crowd. Pick a card, any card. My uncle does that every time he visits, not the balloons, but the stuff with the cards. Cove spoke plainly as to reach to take the dolphin that had been designated for him. You wonder if Cove's whole family was magic. At least you had a fun time. You saw the magic trick and got a great balloon. That was more than enough to make it a worthwhile event. You thought that if you could find a card to practice with, maybe you could make it disappear too. The crowd started to clear some, and you noticed to the side there was a whole rack of brightly colored kaleidoscopes on display. I know how to solve a Rubik's Cube, so I guess I'll choose that. Oh, these are cool. Will you hold my balloon while I look at this? Cove nodded, taking your balloon and then holding it in the same hand as his own, so he could get a good grip on the cube. He stood next to you and watched as you attempted to match the colored rows. You managed to line up all the green squares on one side of the cube, but there were still 5 more sides to go. Deciding it was something that you could continue another time, you set the cube back on the rack and you took your balloon from Cove, who moved to the other side of the stall. He went under the awning, careful of his own floating balloon, and you joined him. I don't really like it here. Are you having fun? I just want to make sure. Yeah. You returned his smile, happy to hear it. When Cove moved towards some stalls nearby, you followed beside him. I don't know what voice I have for like crowds, but I know it's like, no, do not speak. No. Something like that. While Cove looked at Sam Pell's, I don't even know what accent it is. Not Italian, no. What is it? You were drawn to a table with colorful keychains laid out on it. They were sewn in a shape of sea creatures, and there was a plaque that read, "Handmade," standing proudly in front. There were a lot of different types. You saw a dolphin, a shark, a crab, a turtle. I think sharks are cool. Dolphins, they're sex freaks. Crab, greedy. Mr. Krabs, you know. Mr. Krabs. You know, so greedy, you know that, right? Turtle. I don't know why I think of that as the weed animal, but anyway. Maybe it's that, little, Finding Nemo movie. Shark. Your hand stopped on the shark, a devious smirk filled with sharp teeth on its face. You weren't supposed to go near sharks in real life, but there was something about this shark you liked, and the fabric on its back was soft when you picked it up. I did choose shark before. Okay. I wonder which one I didn't pick. Turtle, I picked turtle. Crab, I picked no, I haven't picked crab. They picked turtle? I've never picked turtle. Have I picked dolphin before? Yes, I have. I like shark. You were instantly enamored. Checking the price though, your heart fell. $6. You don't know much about money, but you knew that was a lot to spend on one thing. You rarely had more than a $5 to your name. Is that what you wanted? Huh? Oh, it's $6. I didn't bring any money.
All right.
It's fine. Really? Really? Cove took the chain from your hands, and that was that. He was holding a small yellow bucket for himself too. It's cool. You should get it. He smiled, pleased to have things work out. It was nice of Cove's dad to let Cove buy something for you too. You had to remember to thank him next time you saw him. After Cove paid, the two of you stepped out of the store side by side, your balloon dolphins knocking together and spiraling around in the air. You watched Cove with his new pal to his face, examining it thoroughly. Hey Cove, yeah. Really like this keychain. Oh, what? Oh God. Oh God. Should we tell him? I think it's best, maybe. From what happens, Cove's brow furrowed in confusion.
Maybe.
I don't know, maybe. For a second, you thought about mentioning the way, and you and his father maybe decided against it.
Maybe.
Okay. Maybe I shouldn't do that. I really like this keychain, thank you. Cove looked over and you held it up so he could see it better. I like it too. Cove looked further down the street where different food cars were lined up. He rested his non-cast arm over his stomach, and just as he did, yours let out a light growl. I remember what happens with the balloons. Oh God, I remember. You hadn't eaten since breakfast, and after all of this wandering around, you were definitely ready for some lunch. Let's get some food. Yeah. The two wandered around a short while, looking at all the delicacies that were available. Everything looked delicious, and as the different smells, both sweet and salty, wafted over to you, your stomach growled even louder. After passing up hot dogs, snow cones, ice cream, and pizza, you both agreed on pretzels. Pretzels are good. Oh, some cheese. Some cheese sauce with that to dip in. Oh. Oh. God, I'm a whore for food. Oh. He bats, you're a whore for food. Oh, he bats knows. Sorry, weird reference. Cove got something sweet and cinnamon, and you. Oh. It's one with cheese. Oh. Oh. God. Sorry, I'm moaning from how the idea of a big pretzel with some cheese dip. Sorry. Oh my god. Oh, I'm a whore for food. I am a whore. I am such a whore. You licked your lips hungrily as the vendor handed over your pretzel, ready to take a big bite. It was covered in gooey, melty cheese, just the way you liked it. It seemed odd to get a dessert pretzel before eating normal food. Like, honestly, I don't... Like, dessert pretzels are good, but sweet, like, salty pretzels are better. They're better. They're better. You can't do it. You can't disagree with me. Found an empty table close enough to the beach that the grit of the sand made terrible noises when he dragged the chairs out to sit down. These balloons are gonna make it hard to eat. Cove placed his bucket on the table as he stared at the still balled up hand that was wrapped around the string. You opened your mouth to agree before an idea hit you. I know. After carefully placing your pretzel somewhere where it wouldn't get sandy, you tugged the balloon dolphin out of Cove's hand and tied it a delicate bow around his wrist. Oh. Cove bounced his arm up and down in place, testing the stability of your knot. After watching the balloon jostle around but remain attached, he smiled satisfied. Can you do it for me? He repeated the ritual. Cove struggled somewhat with the cast, restricting his fingers on one hand and a string already tangled around the other. But the action made you feel strangely happy. You couldn't look at him in the eyes.
Okay.
I got it. The two of you spent a moment admiring your hard work, both hands now free to easily munch on your pretzels. You bit into the doughy treat, savoring the taste on your tongue with a smile as you looked out over the ocean. Oh. I'm sorry, I can taste it. I can taste how good it tastes, you know? I'm a whore. Oh, I'm such a whore. Oh. I want something like that now. Oh, God, I'm sorry. I'm a whore. I'm ashamed. I'm a whore. I'm a whore and I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed to admit it. After a time, you finished your pretzel. You were done before Cove. It was boring not having to do anything. Anything to do, whatever. You pulled on the string of your balloon to bring it down to your level. Then you held the dolphin in your hands, manipulating it to make it look like it was jumping through the air. If you turned to face towards the beach, it almost looked like it was swimming in the waves like a real dolphin. A laugh came from your side. When you glanced back at Cove, he had left the remaining parts of his pretzel on the wrapper and he was gripping his dolphin too. He's the Prince of Dolphins. My name is Merryweather. He's the Prince of the Dolphins. My name's is Splash. They star in movies. My name is Terry. She's actually an alien. My name's Sam. They're just a regular dolphin. His name's Bob. Yeah, his name's Bob. He's just... Oh, God. Honestly, I love naming things Bob. And, like, I remember, meeting a Bob in a visual novel. That was Don't Eat the Cashier, the manager. It was like a interdimensional squid alien. Like, yes, a Bob. I love the name Bob so much. I just love it so much. Anyway, I've never tried this. I don't think I did. No, I have. I have tried it. His name's Sam. There's just a regular dolphin. You sigh, thinking how great it would be to have a pet dolphin as your own. I don't want a pet dolphin. I don't want to. They're weird. As I've said, they're sex freaks, if I remember correctly. And I think, like, aggressive, they are too. Like, more aggressive than sharks. Sharks aren't really aggressive that much, as movies would like to portray. They're fine. They're fine. What's yours? Cove considered the question, placing the balloon against the table and resting his free arm across it in contemplation. This is why I remember. With a loud pop, the balloon, the dolphin exploded in ribbons. No. 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 Fucking stupid game. Stupid game. For a second, all Cove did was gape in shock like you. Then his cheeks puffed up, squinty in his eyes, and you saw tears start to glisten. Snow, it. He offered to find Alexander. Did I ever do this? I don't think I did. Don't cry. Don't cry. You're fine. You quickly pulled the knot around your wrist loose and passed it over to Cove. It wasn't the same color, but you hoped Cove would accept it anyway. Here, you can have this one. Cove sniffled, a lone tear running down his cheek. No, I don't want to take yours. Then we're sharing. It's your turn to hold it. Wait, really? Yeah, it's okay. Cove accepted the balloon delicately, probably to make sure this one didn't pop like the other. Thanks, Snow. Seeing him like that felt much better than keeping the dolphin to yourself. No. I don't care about my dolphin. You can have it. The passing of Cove's balloon was the last major event of your adventure. In the end, the two of you headed back late that afternoon. I hope with this game I don't get reminded of times in my life. So, I'm sorry. No. Dumping trauma on you. Anyway. You separate on the beach, and while Cove went straight home with his brand new sand pail in hand, you decided to sit for a while. You watched the waves and the sunset, fiddling with your new keychain. Another summer day was drawing to a close. It had been great going around with Cove. You hoped to do it again, but next time you wish nothing would happen to make him cry. Man, hold on. We'll continue. I'll be right back. I need to feed a cat. Because he's at my door being a brat. Well, he's not really a brat. He's just asking for food. But the only way he knows it, which is to scratch at my door. That is the only way he knows. Tin. 5. Feeding cat. Okay. I'll be right back. Hello, we are back. We're gonna play Grown Up now. Ooh, there you go. One sweltering summer day, you were in your living room with Cove, listening to the sounds of the birds shattering outside the window while you lay across on the rug on the floor. Cove's dad had dropped him off earlier, and your moms had left the two of you, along with Lizzie, to play amongst yourselves. It had been too hot to go outside in the afternoon, at least according to your mommy. So your sister was starting to get impatient while waiting for her golf class that evening. Three of you had trouble finding something fun to do. The beach and the playground were off limits, and you felt that it was too warm for anything like that with your fuzzy toy animals. Then suddenly, light came to Lizzie's big brown eyes, and her smile spread wide across her face. Having an idea gave her a new wave of energy. Since we're stuck inside, we should be adults. They don't play outdoors anyways. They're always inside and telling everyone they're too busy.
Why?
Why?
Duh.
I said why, and it'll be fun, duh. What do they do inside that we don't, besides use the phone a lot? Exuding a small huff, Covey decides to ignore Cove.
What do you think?
No. Cove said it. That doesn't sound fun. Come on, neither of you had a single idea on a date. You could tell that Lizzie was about to give in anytime soon. Fine. No, I don't wanna do anything with her. With her victory against Ko under her belt, Lizzie turned to you, triumphant. Okay, I'll stay. I'll try it, but that sounds boring. It's not gonna be. Guaranteed. Lizzie seemed more determined than ever, and you could only sigh. Satisfied that neither of you were about to bail on her, Lizzie thought over her options while you watched. After a few seconds, she clapped her hands together and beamed, apparently having settled on something without asking either of you.
Okay.
I'm gonna be the professional golfer. Snow, you and Cove can be a beach volleyball player, a gymnast, or a tennis player. Why can't we pick anything we want? Because I have a fun idea, then what? And we have to play sports as adults. Yep. But there are other kinds of sports too.
Right?
It isn't the same. What do you think, Snow? Don't those choices sound super cool? You want to be that, huh? I'm just gonna shut her down. There it is. It really doesn't. I'm just gonna shut her down. Lizzie pouted, resting her hands on her hips and tapping her foot impatiently. Oh, too bad. I made the plan. You're a part of it. So I chose one already. Ugh. God. She's so fucking annoying. Cove was not impressed with Lizzie's attitude, though he didn't bother talking more about it for now. He thought over the list of possibilities: beach volleyball, gymnastics, or tennis. Out of all of them, you preferred to play tennis. Remembered Mommy had a couple tennis rackets lying around somewhere, but you forgot where you had seen them last. Oh wait. You could check the attic for them, although Lizzie probably won't let you run off and do that now that she had you here. Yes, that was clearly the top option. Okay, I'm gonna be a tennis player.
All right.
How about you, Cove? I want to be a tennis player with Cove. Snow. Lizzie threw her hands in the air, making an annoyed sound. Can't be the same thing, that's how it works. What the fuck are you doing? I didn't say that. The rule was taken from the list. You can't keep adding more. Lizzie looked at the two of you, then shook her hand, resigning to lose this battle but not the war. Fine, you're both tennis players, but you're on the same team because there's only one. Lizzie's ponytail bobbed as she proudly stretched her arms wide. the Olympic team. What? Olympic athletes who just competed in the Olympics. Cove didn't seem all that impressed with the announcement. He made a face and adjusted his glasses on his nose. That's really specific.
Rude.
That's what makes it fun, anyway. Lizzie marched back and forth in front of the both of you, getting lost in her own imagination. I won all the medals and people calling me the next Mickey. Oh, she's so narcissistic. Who's that? I don't even know who that is. Lizzie stopped on the spot and turned to him, her brown eyes shining with impatience. It doesn't matter if you know who she is. It's a goth thing. I don't care for sports. I don't know what popular sports. You guys won medals too. Hold on. Your team placed at silver. It's more real if we're not all first place. Silver sucks. Hello? What? What is opening? Hello? What? Hello? 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 What happened? Stream is still going. Okay, good. The stream is still going. But game crashed. What? I don't know what the hell happened. Maybe this is a sign I should stop and eat something. We'll just stop. Okay. I'll be right back. But you're gonna see this probably at like 3:45 p.m. CST. See the other stream. So hope you enjoy that. And I'll see ya.